Welcome to part 1 of how to solve a Slike equation. In this part, we'll cover the basics of the Slike formula and how to identify a Slike equation. So let's start off with a basic question. 3 Slike 3 equals 33. Looking at the formula for this, we'll see it's 3 times 10 to the power of 1 plus 3. So when we pull out the equation, we can just see its basic exponents, multiplication, and addition. Looking at BEDMAS, we start with the exponent. 10 to the power of 1 equals 10. That's easy enough. Now multiplication. 3 times 10 equals 30. 30 plus 3 equals 33. Easy peasy. Now let's show how we got these numbers with the Slike formula. A times 10 to the power of k plus b equals c. Now if I've lost you from this, don't worry, I'll bring you back. When looking at the put together version, a couple variables stay the same. So for example, if we know a equals 2 and b equals 4, then we can replace those numbers in the bottom version as well, leaving us with 2 times 10 to the power of k plus 4. Now for the hardest part and probably the only real challenge with Slike, determining the value of k. K equals the number of digits in b to the left of a decimal point. The easiest way of doing this is to count and add. So if b equals 445, for example, we can see no decimals, so we can easily count them all by adding plus 1 below each digit. Meaning if b equals 445, then k equals 3. Now, if we have something like b equals 4.57, then it's a bit more of a challenge, but remember the rule. K equals the number of digits in b to the left of a decimal point. So if we get to the first digit and add a plus 1, and for the numbers to the right of a decimal, you can add plus 0. Remember, you don't have to add the plus 1 or plus 0, they're just there for demonstration's sake and makes it easier to count. Let's add something completely new to this. What if b equals 5.5 times 10 to the power of 4? There's an easy trick to this, but first we keep using the k rule and add a plus 1 to the first 5 and a plus 0 to the second one, since it's behind the decimal point. But for the second part, it's its own equation, so we can either solve 5.5 times 10 to the power of 4, or for the easiest way to deal with this, instead of plus 1 plus 0, we add however much 10 is to the power of. So in this case, that's a plus 4. This method does require very specific conditions, so it's usually just better to solve for b. Now that we know how to solve for k, we can go back to our example question. 2 plus 10 to the power of k plus 4. Now we can look at 4 and count the digits to the left of the decimal point. So 4 only has one digit, thus k equals 1. Doing BEDMAS again, 10 to the power of 1 equals 10, 10 times 2 equals 20, 20 plus 4 equals 24. By this point you may be seeing a pattern with the answers and be able to solve basic questions in a couple of seconds. Next time we'll dive deeper into the Slike pool and discover when you will and you won't need to use the formula in an equation.